The history of the port of San Pedro begins on August 31, 1968, with the decision to create the new city of San Pedro and its port 350 kilometers from Abidjan. This decision was part of the Integrated Development Program, initiated in the 60s by the Ivorian government to reduce regional disparities by creating a development pole in the southwest of Côte d'Ivoire and serve as a transit port of landlord neighboring countries and regions: Mali, Forest Guinea, Eastern Liberia. The construction works of the Port of San Pedro, led by the Autorité for the Development of the Southwest region, took place between 1968 and 1971. They focused on the construction of a deep-water port, the creation of a new city, the establishment of road network between San Pedro and the hinterland, and the development of the hinterland. On December 4, 1972, the Port of San Pedro was inaugurated by the President of the Republic, the late Félix Houphouët-Boigny, who had just completed the establishment of the fundamentals of economic and social development of the whole of Côte d'Ivoire in the aftermath of the country's independence. The positioning of the Port of San Pedro was intended to allow the development port of the entire western part of Côte d'Ivoire to flourish by promoting inclusive growth. Today, the port facilities consist mainly in a 90 hectares body of water, protective works, east and west piers, berthing works with more than 1 kilometer of quay line, a commercial port with an area of 10 hectares including a container terminal equipped with 4 latest-generation mobile port cranes, a multi-purpose commercial terminal with nearly 15,000-meter square of covered shops, and multi-purpose industrial terminal of 14 ha with a storage capacity of 300,000 tons equipped with 2 mobile harbor cranes, 2 dust hoppers, a reversible belt conveyor and 2 distribution towers, a fishing port of 4 hectares, 2 cement factories, 2 oil mills, a flour mill, and an area of 2,047 hectares, including 1,000 hectares undeveloped, programmed for logistics and industrial spaces. Investments in recent years have allowed to start the phase of extension of the port and carry out rehabilitation works, maintenance and upkeep of infrastructures and superstructures, as well as the acquisition of equipment to ensure the smooth running of port activity. The Port of San Pedro is safe and frequentable. The security management devices earned it a regular renewal of its compliance with the standards of the International Code for the Security of Ships and Port Facilities, ISPS code. Particular emphasis has been placed on dematerialization through the implementation and operationalization of ERPs in order to modernize the management of the company and optimize port operations. The Port of San Pedro is well integrated into the digital world. These assets offer to customers and partners the best operating conditions in the port. These investments and managerial policy, combined with the adoption of a new commercial strategy by product line and the optimization of the operation, favored a significant improvement of the performances. New traffics were recorded: cashew, fertilizer, nickel, manganese, iron. The Port of San Pedro maintains its position as the world's leading cocoa export port with an export volume of more than 1 million tons. Overall, the traffic of goods now amounts to more than 7 million tons against 1.2 million in annual average before 2011. All these actions are registered in the management policy that has obtained the international recognition of the Integrated Management System Quality, Health, Safety and Environment. The port is certified ISO 9001 version 2015 Quality, ISO 45001 version 2018 Health and Safe at Work, and ISO 14001 version 2015 Environment. Stringent management measures continuously improve financial indicators. The rating agency gives to the Port of San Pedro A2 in short-term and an in long-term rating, indicating the company's credibility with financial institutions. In 2023, Autonomous Port of San Pedro won the Super Award for Performance and Governance of Ivorian Public Enterprises. In terms of prospects, the Ivorian government further confirms the vocation and objectives behind the creation of this other pole of economic development that will contribute to making Côte d'Ivoire an emerging country, as the President of the Republic, His Excellency Alassane Ouattara, aspires. To this end, the Port Authority is considering putting the performance of the Port of San Pedro at the service of the development of the sub-region. This vision is based on the enormous potential of the hinterland of port, estimated at more than 3 billion tons of raw materials composed of agricultural resources, cocoa, rubber, palm oil, cashew nuts, cotton, mineral resources, iron, manganese, nickel, and forest resources. In addition, the evolution of containerized traffic, the size of the population of the hinterland estimated at more than 10 million inhabitants, the geostrategic positioning and the unique assets of the port of San Pedro, such as its direct opening to the sea, are undeniable opportunities for its development and that of the whole region. In this context, the Port Authority has joined up a master plan for the development of the Port of San Pedro by 2035. This master plan, aligned with the National Development Plan of Côte d'Ivoire, defines the main development directions of the Port of San Pedro through structuring projects to be carried out in the framework of public-private partnerships. The implementation of the master plan is based on infrastructure projects planned to improve the port service offer and increase the competitiveness of the Port of San Pedro. These projects will be carried out in two main phases, the first of which concerns the relocation and extension of the container terminal, the construction and operation of a multipurpose industrial terminal already completed and commissioned in 2022, the development and operation of a multipurpose commercial terminal, the development of a 330 hectares economic and industrial zone, and the asphalting of a 4 kilometers track, connecting the new container terminal to the developed economic zone. At the end of this phase, the Port of San Pedro will have the following configuration. First phase of the San Pedro Port Extension Project. The projects planned in the second phase are the construction of an advanced port at ODNA, the construction and operation of a hydrocarbon products depot, the construction of a semi-industrial fishing port, the relocation of the artisanal fishing port on the San Pedro River, and the construction of a large mineral terminal. Two options are envisaged for this second phase. First option, offshore port integrated with the San Pedro Man ODNA Railway. Second option, mineralized wharf integrated with the San Pedro Man ODNA Railway. The construction of a railway linking San Pedro and Man, as well as the asphalting of roads in the hinterland of the port and those linking it to Mali and Guinea, and the construction of a bridge over the Cavalli River to connect Liberia are necessary for the transport of cargo to the port of San Pedro. To these structuring projects, we must add accompanying infrastructure with great energy potential. In this case, the Subre Dam with a capacity of 275 megawatts already operational, and the one under construction of Gribbo Popoli with a capacity of 112 megawatts. All these structuring projects will be done in respect for the environment, in accordance with the social responsibility policy of the autonomous Port of San Pedro, in which the well-being of man has a central place. Regarding its benefits, the Port of San Pedro already plays an important role in the local socio-economic dynamics through the development of port activity and the establishment of agro-industrial units for the processing of wood, cocoa, rubber, palm seeds to promote added value, create jobs, and distribute income. The existence of the port has led to the creation of vast agricultural plantations, causing a displacement towards the hinterland of the populations interested in cash crops, cocoa, rubber, oil palm, promoting the emergence of the city of San Pedro with a population estimated over 400,000, according to the latest general census. More than 40,000 direct and indirect jobs are recorded in the region because of the port and agro-industrial activity. The development of road connections to the hinterland, including the asphalting of the main roads linking San Pedro to the southeast and north of Côte d'Ivoire, has contributed to the flow of agricultural products and the development of transport. Port activity in San Pedro contributes nearly 20% to the customs and tax revenues of the state of Côte d'Ivoire. Moreover, the implementation of the extension program of the Port of San Pedro will have a positive training effect on the autonomous Port of San Pedro and on the entire West Ivorian region. Also, the integrative effects of the implementation of structuring projects will be perceived at sub-regional level: Mali, Guinea, and Liberia. Ultimately, this extension program will increase the customs and tax revenues collected at the Port of San Pedro from 300 billion CFA francs to 1,500 billion CFA francs, the creation of more than 50,000 new direct and indirect jobs, the development of the activities of the Port of San Pedro by increasing the cargo traffic from 7 million tons today to nearly 100 million tons in the future, the development of a new international airport, the opening of a new university, the construction of a new industrial zone, the development of the tourist and seaside industry, and the development of urbanization programmed by the state will strengthen the role of development pole of the Port of San Pedro. The actions carried out and the results obtained in recent years confirm our determination to make the Port of San Pedro an essential platform in international maritime trade. And that is why we are convinced that the emergence of Côte d'Ivoire cannot be done without the autonomous Port of San Pedro. Port of San Pedro, The world's cocoa leader exporting port, we are building the futur with optimism, determination and realism.